Hey, everybody, welcome to the new show, The Macro Dose. Today we have a very special episode for you. I've got Paul with me as usual, and today we have a gentleman by the name of, is it Dave Weiss or Wise?
Weiss like ice, or some people say
Weiss, like
we ISS.
we ISS. So we have Dave Weiss, and he's better known as Flat Earth Dave all over the internet. Now, Dave, I'm still very much on the fence. I've got to call myself a glober. But I have seen several of your videos, some of them a little bit more painful to watch, like the marble quiz guy. Do you remember that episode?
If it was painful to watch, I've probably eliminated it from my memory. But yeah, there's a lot of painful ones, and the painful
Yeah.
ones are the globers that just don't understand.
Well, that's what I'm getting at is there are these people that just they can't stop and look at the information. And that's what I'm doing. Again, it's hard to let go of the idea that the Earth is a round globe, but I've looked at a lot of the information that you have, and I'm like, how do I not believe that? How
Well,
does that not make sense?
I'm with you. Belief is the enemy of knowing. We don't want to believe anything, right? If I told you
Right.
I lived in Connecticut, you guys would believe it, but you don't know it. Okay, then you'd have to do some research and go on Facebook. You found my friends. Oh, you found my high school. All right, he lives in Connecticut. You're relatively sure. So that's belief versus knowing. Belief is easy. You believe it's a globe. At the end of this podcast, I'm going to say, give me one reason that you believe we live on a globe. At the end, save that for the end. All right.
One more thing before we really get started here, because I know that this will pique Paul's ears. Yeah, I hear you have a sort of a challenge, Bitcoin challenge. You'll give 3 Bitcoin to anybody
Stop it.
who can come up with absolute proof that we live on a globe. Is that right?
So on my app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, which bypasses the Google censorship, right? You should actually wonder what the heck's going on with Flat Earth just because Google's hiding it. They'll show you the Loch Ness Monster. They'll show you Bigfoot. They'll show you aliens. They'll show you all this crazy, all this stuff. I'm not saying any of that's crazy. I'm just saying they'll show you all of this stuff that mainstream says isn't real, but they won't show you real Flat Earth stuff. If you Google flat Earth horizon proof, flat Earth distance shots, flat Earth ships over the horizon proof, just anything, or flat Earth David Weiss, you get the same list of videos every time. So they're not filling your search. They're giving you a set of videos that they want you to watch that'll make you laugh at flat Earth. All right.
What about something like DuckDuckGo? Might that yield
It's a little better, but DuckDuckGo, you search for my YouTube channel, it doesn't even come up. So I don't like goodbye. Um, on my app every day there's a featured video, so and short ones during the week, a little longer on the weekends, right? I'm very considerate of people's times. I say, here's the challenge: watch the video every day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think the earth is a globe, send me one proof. But before you do, you have to hit the frequently asked questions button, the little question mark, and up will come a list of, if it loads, of course I have there we go. Up will come a list of questions like, hey, what about ships over the horizon? What about,
Right.
why would they lie? And watch those because your answer is probably given in those videos. And again, don't believe the videos. Don't believe anything I say. I'm showing you some doors. Go verify this stuff yourself. Don't just believe. You got to know. And at the end of that, honestly, you're not going to have a globe proof and you're going to be a flat earther and you're going to curse me out for ruining your life. But it didn't really ruin your life. It actually opened up your life to reality.
So, do you know how to sort of take over? This is my first time using Zoom. Well, second time. Do you know how to take over the screen and make it big and you can just kind of run through your thing? And then I think the best thing is going to be Paul answering his sort of normal questions.
Yeah, just to give you an idea where I'm coming from, I have never done any research. I mean, I've heard of the flat Earth conversation or debate. I'm aware of it, but I've never done
Well,
any research into it. I just like the rest of the masses, I assume that we're living on a sphere, that we're living on a globe, and that's the reality that I was indoctrinated into, and I've never even given it much thought at all.
Is
Uh,
is
uh,
this flat Earth? Is this what you think flat Earth is?
Visually, yeah, I guess,
I
sure.
know
This is
I know
what
better than that.
this is what they want you to think flat Earth is. This is the dumbest crap ever. No flat Earther thinks this. But globe believers that haven't done any research or have Googled flat Earth a few times, get this. And this is stupid. This is dumb. I would be making fun of flat earthers if this was flat earth. No flat earther thinks that we're a disc floating in space, a turn up with flat, Earth with other round planets. No one thinks that. We're going to clear all of that up today.
Okay.
But the thing is, if you go research it yourself, just on Google, on YouTube, you're going to get fed nonsense. You're going to give up. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to see a bunch of anti-flat earthers. People say that they're paid shills. I say they're either paid or possessed, probably possessed. And they're fighting for their own enslavement. This is all about the enslavement of the human mind. It puts your mind in a matrix, was the heliocentric ball. Okay. My point I was going to make, I had a great point. And I forgot it, but it'll come up.
Well, I mean, you've already piqued my interest, because if there's one thing I've learned over the past couple of years is that there's a lot of things that we were indoctrinated into that may or may not necessarily be true. And I think that most of the world now has to question, based on current events, and I won't get into it, but based on current events, most of the world has to question what the authorities tell us.
No problem. Hey, Mac, you if you put your mouse on the Zoom window, on the very upper right, it says view. And if you click speaker view, whoever's speaking will take over the screen automatically. So
okay, there we go.
So when I'm speaking, it'll take over, it'll fill the screen. You guys will be small, and that'll give you the optical effect that you're looking for.
I just want to let you know that throughout the show, we're just going to be hanging on really, really tight to our globe theory. We're going to hold on as tight.
Hanging on to our globes, man. Like,
okay.
this is home. The pale blue.
Don't take my ball away. No, I've been living on this ball. So put yourself on
the
top
pale
of
blue
the ball.
dot, man. The pale blue dot. Carl Sagan.
Don't leave me.
So you're always, from your position, you're on top of the ball, right? From your position, you're on top of the earth, because down is down for you, and up, down is up in Australia, whatever. People are standing antipodal, right? Which is retarded. All right. So you're on top of your ball. You're looking at the sun, and the sun's starting to set. So what is the sun doing in your world? Is it going down, or are you falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound in your world?
In my world, the earth is rotating.
So you're on the earth. When you watch the sun down, when you're facing the sun, that means that you're falling over backwards.
Correct.
Faster than the speed of sound.
Right.
Right.
As in the speed of the rotation of the earth is whatever,
1,000 miles an hour at the equator. Okay. It's probably like 850 here in the United States or somewhere, depending on where you are. It changes depending on where you are. Okay. Don't you think that's a little weird?
I mean, it certainly doesn't feel like I'm moving at 1,000 miles an hour.
You sure? Let me ask you, there's we got a group of guys that go up and down boardwalks and beaches, and they have $200 in their hand, and they go up to people and they say, do you think the earth is flat or round? And people say round, of course, it's a globe. And they say, I'm going to ask you 3 questions about your globe, and if you get it right, you get $300. You have $200. Ready? You want to play?
All right, let's do it.
All right. And by the way, no one's ever won, and it's the easiest questions ever. How many times on the heliocentric model does the earth spin in one day?
Once.
Bing. One right. How far away is the sun in miles from the earth?
It's something like 7 light seconds. Something it takes, I believe it takes the sun the light of the sun 7 or 8 seconds to reach the earth. I believe there's 186.
Okay, so I asked for it in miles, but I'll take it in light time, and you're wrong. It's 8 light minutes, 93 million miles. Okay,
8 light minutes.
So you failed. Flat earthers know more about your model than and I'm not picking on you. I was you. Anything I say to you guys, I was you. I was worse than you. You guys have an open mind.
You can definitely pick on Paul.
But you guys have an open mind.
I mean,
I went in with a closed mind when I started investigating.
What's the third question? Because I'm science minded, and I knew it was something 7 or 8.
Third question is, what speed is the Earth rotating, orbiting the sun? The average speed.
Oh man,
66,600 miles an hour. That's a speed you can't even fathom. Let me show you what I mean. This is the hypersonic sled track. It's a rocket sled. I think NASA runs it actually, or some scientists. And watch it go by again. It's going by at Mach 8.6. Watch it again, okay? And if you Google this and you can hear the sound, it's shocking. The shock wave is shocking, right? That's Mach 8.6. Now you believe, ready? You believe that your globe is orbiting the sun 10 times faster than this, right? You can't even conceive of this speed, let alone twice the speed, 10 times faster than that. And it's chasing the sun, ready? You know, because the sun's traveling through the universe. We're corkscrewing around 10 times faster. And we're also chasing the sun 100 times faster than this. A ball, a lumpy rock, surrounded by curved water, surrounded by air, adjacent to a vacuum of no pressure, which is scientifically impossible, moving 10 times in one direction, a curved, not a straight line like an airplane, curved, and corkscrewing through space 100 times faster. But when we go out into nature, do we sense that? We go out into nature, what do we see? We see stuff like this. Okay? Mm-hmm. What does this water tell your common sense, not your nonsense?
That we're still.
Is this land moving? If you were a giant and you could pick up the edge of the land on this lake and shake it the tiniest bit, what would happen to the water? Be all over
ripples and waves. Right.
Neil deGrasse Tyson and science, mainstream science, say because of the spin of the Earth, the centrifugal force sends a lot of water to the equator and it bulges 14 miles high. But the Earth is so big, that's why you don't notice it. Okay, 14 miles high. Think about that. An airplane travels about 5 miles high. So if I'm flying from North America and I want to go to Ecuador,
you would hit a wall of water.
I would have to triple my height.
Yeah.
Triple just to skim over, you know,
right.
and make and not crash into it. Have you ever experienced that?
No, but I've never made that trip either. So
hey, you know what? Yeah. Neither have I. Okay.
Hey, we're gonna get those 3 Bitcoin and we'll go.
Yeah. Well, it works the other way around. You got to prove it first, and then you get the 3 Bitcoin. Okay. All right. And so the other problem is, if you're on a runway, think about this. The Earth spins once a day. You got that right. And so we have our pole up here, and if you're on the equator, the Earth is about 24,000 miles around, rounding down. So it spins once a day. You're moving 1,000 miles an hour, 24 hours, 1,000 miles an hour. One rotation per day, one big 24,000 mile circle. But if you're up here in Alaska,
yeah, that's always.
Think about this. You go around once a day, but your speed, your linear speed is more like 300 miles an hour. Okay. Right. So you're sitting on a runway in Alaska. Plane takes off, flies to Ecuador. You want to land on a runway that's oriented north and south. That runway is moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour. Where do you get that tangential speed to land on that runway? You can get it the same place Globers get their globe proofs. You have to pull it out of your ass. Okay. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. You know, my instinct is to say somehow gravity has locked objects in our atmosphere at the same velocity, rotational velocities. But I'm just grasping.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because gravity is their god. Gravity is their god, because without gravity, everything falls apart. No pun intended. Okay. So, you know, they want us to think, flat earthers say, down is down for me, here, all around. Down is down for everybody, but they want you to think that's crazy. And they say, well, no, down is down this, this person's feet are facing that person's feet, and this person, and we're on a spinning ball, and nobody notices any of the motion, any of the movement, but we're antipodal to each other. And gravity is holding everything to the earth, holding the oceans to the earth. Think about this. If I had I got to bring a prop. All right, I got my hand here, and I got an iron frying pan, 5 pounds, and I want to hold it to the bottom of my hand. Well, if I put it there and let it go, it's going to fall down. How much pressure would I need to put on a 5-pound pan to hold it to the bottom of my hand? How many pounds of pressure?
5 pounds.
Right, 5 or more, right?
Or more.
4 pounds, it would go down.
Least.
Yeah, okay.
At least
5 pounds to hold it on. So on your ball, the oceans at the bottom of the world weigh trillions of tons. How much pressure do you need to hold trillions of tons to the bottom of a ball?
At least trillions of tons.
Don't you think that would crush the human body? Don't you think we couldn't survive in a situation like that?
Shit.
All right.
He's gonna fucking blow your mind.
All right. So we're gonna in this episode, we're gonna spend another 5 minutes on gravity because I want you guys are thinking. I love this. By the way, you're already flat earthers, you just don't know it. Okay. So why is this balloon, it's not blown up, it's got a little bit of air in there, but it's not blown up. Why is it sagging down? Gravity.
Right.
Okay. If gravity was stronger, do you think it would stretch the balloon down? Maybe. I mean, theoretically, you got the balloon, and if gravity was stronger, like if I hung a 5-pound weight on this, it would stretch it.
Mm-hmm.
So 5-pound weight is stronger than gravity because gravity is not stretching this balloon down.
Right.
Okay. So the second law of thermodynamics says you can't have high pressure next to low pressure without a physical container. Like if I said, hey, let's have a barbecue tonight, go get some propane, but don't bring the tank, just bring the propane.
Right. High
Couldn't
pressure wants to travel to low pressure areas.
And the Globers will say there's high pressure systems and low pressure systems, and there's no barrier. When there's a high pressure system and a low pressure system, we have a storm or wind because they're trying to equalize constantly. Right.
Right.
And so that's and then when they equalize, there's no wind. Right. When you have a serious low pressure system, and that's a hurricane, or whatever, a big storm. So if you have let's say I get a bottle, a glass bottle, I suck the air out of it, I put the top on it, right? So it's low pressure. Now I can't get all the air out just because I'm not that strong and the bottle would collapse. I turned it upside down and I opened it. What's going to happen? It's going to suck all the air right back in. Why isn't gravity holding that air down? Because if gravity's holding the air down, how come the vacuum of space, which is stronger than any vacuum we can create here on Earth, how come it doesn't suck the air off? The answer is gravity. Okay. The answer, that's the only answer. But look at this. I put a little air in this balloon. What is this air trying to do? It's trying to escape in every direction. The air pressure is strong enough to stretch this balloon. Gravity is not strong enough to stretch this balloon. The air pressure is trying to get out sideways, down, and up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if I brought this up, it's going to try even harder and harder. It's going to expand more and more. And there's no place on Earth that the air is stronger than the gravity. So if there's no gravity, why do things go down? That's a good question. Thanks for asking. Okay. There's a thing called the electrostatics. Okay. Everything, without exception, is electrostatic. Everything. Us, everything has a charge to it. The Earth is a neutral. Some people say it's a negative charge, but there's no charge. Okay, it's neutral, and everything above the Earth has a charge. So we know about positive and negatives. They attract each other, right?
Or repel.
Well, no, two negatives repel and two positives repel. But a positive and a negative attract each other. Okay, so this is the one I want. Yeah. All right. So here we got some party balloons. All right, and I'm going to tell you what we're doing here in a second. So positive and negatives attract. So how can we test this? So I got these balloons, and this is just a little button, a metal button, and we taped it to the end of this wire. And this wire is connected to a Van de Graaff generator that we can change the charge. So this has a positive charge, but we're adding a stronger positive charge to it. And when we do, it went down. So if the Earth is neutral, we make a stronger positive charge. It's being attracted more. This is our theory.
Which suggests that the Earth would have a negative charge.
The Earth has a negative or neutral charge. Same thing. Okay. There's no such thing as a negative. It's just neutral.
Right.
Okay?
All right.
I think one thing that's important to point out here is you're saying this is a theory. This is something that's being tested as, like, you're not claiming it to be absolute evidence.
I am actually claiming this to be
Science.
This is something that we can test. Now, I'm not saying, hey, maybe gravity is also involved, but we're going to talk about that in a second. So when we discharge it, it goes back up. When we charge it, it goes down. We know if we look at the periodic table, every element that has a stronger positive charge is heavier than the one before it. So the more positive charge, the heavier it is. Iron has a stronger positive charge than feathers or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the opposite of this? Well, we can add a negative charge to this little tinfoil. When we do, it goes up. As long as we keep that negative charge in it, it goes up and it stays up. And now, are we defying gravity or are we defying the electrostatic charge? Well, gravity is a theory. They got to make up 96% of it with dark matter and dark energy because the theory doesn't work unless they have dark matter and dark energy. And in science, they go, well, dark matter and dark energy have to exist. Otherwise, our theory doesn't work. Well, maybe your theory just doesn't work, right? But instead, they made up dark matter and dark energy because if they said the theory doesn't work, then the entire solar system falls apart. Solar system. Okay. So are we defying gravity or are we defying electrostatics? Well, evidence is leaning towards we're defying electrostatics. Now, science says, you ready for this? Wait, let me show you one more. And then science says this is made at MIT. This is the silent drone. It just has a little electrical hum to it, no moving parts. And they're just changing the electrostatic charge of it. And now it's flying.
Mm-hmm.
No moving parts.
That has like no propellers or anything like
that.
No
propellers, no moving parts. They're just changing the electrostatic field and it's floating. Now, is it defying gravity or is it defying electrostatics? I think you guys are leaning towards electrostatics, but here's where it's going to push you over the edge. I don't mean the edge of the earth because there is no edge.
And just to be clear, it is a well-established fact. And again, this is that the Earth has zero it's not positive or negative, it's neutral. That is a well-established fact. Yes.
That's why everything's grounded when all electrical systems are grounded into the neutral, into the earth. And it's also a well-established fact that there is a flow of electricity from up high down into the earth.
Lightning.
Okay. There's a flow. Lightning. And during lightning storms, things fall at different speeds than they normally do.
Really? Like,
yeah,
what?
Yes, it has been measured during lightning storms because the electrostatics of everything is being changed. Okay, right. And what you ever see lightning strike? Someone gets hit with lightning. What happens? They go flying in the air. Why do they go flying in the air? Right? Maybe because it hits the earth. The earth turns positive for that split second and sends everything flying. Okay.
Electrostatically, it repels.
Right. So
that massive positive charge.
Now, science says that the electrostatic force, which they know is real, is 10 to the 39th power. That's 10 with 39 zeros, stronger than gravity. Okay. And gravity is just a theory, never been proven. Okay. So let me ask a question. If I was in the same room with you and I took my finger and I tapped it on your forehead, it's like, boom, like that. But it didn't really hurt. If I made it 100 times harder, probably hurt. It probably feel like a punch. If I made it a million times stronger, I think you would probably die. But just to be safe, make it 1 trillion times stronger. Your head would pulverize and you can't even. Okay, you'd be atomized 1 trillion times stronger. 1 trillion is 10 to the 15th power. Wow. They're telling us that the electrostatic force is 10 to the 39th power. Okay, 10 to the 16th power is ridiculous over 1 trillion, right? You have to go all the way up to 39. I think they're just poking fun at us like, hey, a molten magnetic core. You can't have a molten magnet, right? They tell us all of this nonsense, and it's up to us to discern and use our God-given common sense and say, I'm calling bullshit on you, scientism.
Let's backtrack 1 second here. Yep. They're telling us that 10 to the third, that what is 10 to the 39th?
The electrostatic force is 10 to the 39th power stronger than the gravitational force. So if I drop this ball, we have two choices. What's pulling it down? The theory of gravity or the proven electrostatic force, which is 10 to the 39th power stronger. I'm sorry. This is where most people's minds melt because they're like, wait a minute, this is disrupting everything I've always believed. And there's so many beliefs that I have that are based on gravity. And if I listen to what Dave's saying, my whole life is going to change. Well, that's a fact.
Okay. So how does the you mentioned the iron core of the earth, right? Which I
Yeah.
heard you drop that in there for a second.
Yep. I'll get to that in 1 second. One last thing. You know what the three body problem is? They probably never taught you it in school. Okay. The three body problem is if things have gravity and they're floating in space, right? A sun and a star is a gassy ball floating in a vacuum. Just
Right.
like your common sense, work that one out. Okay. And they can take in supercomputer models, they can take, all right, I got a sun, it's at this much gravity, and I got a planet, it's got this much gravity. I'm going to put it into orbit, and the computer can figure out what it's going to do for a million years. Like know where it is exactly. Then you add a third body, either a moon orbiting that or another piece. And when you add a third body, the entire system goes haywire, right? So you got three bodies, right, and you try to model them, and no supercomputer can figure out what it's going to do next. That's three bodies. Our solar system, now they're telling us there's hundreds of moons and all the planets. How come when all of the planets line up, doesn't that gravity affect each other? Don't they tug each other out of right? But we can predict where they're all going to be, right? This is chaos, right? This is just three bodies modeling that are actually the same size. We got all different sizes and stuff. Think about this. Helium and hydrogen defy gravity, right? If it's gravity, they go up, they don't go down. They tell us that Jupiter, ready for this? Jupiter has more gravity than the rest of the planets in our solar system combined. And they also tell us that Jupiter is like 98% helium and hydrogen.
Right.
How much helium and hydrogen do you need to create gravity, since it defies gravity? Mm-hmm. They're just telling you insane stuff, and they're like, look at stupid, useless eaters. They believe anything.
It needs all that gravity to hold down the extra helium and nitrogen.
At what point? Yeah, well,
that's a joke.
I understand. I do understand.
I mean, doesn't that have something to do with mass, though? Because according to the laws of gravity, the more
the theory. There's no law of gravity. It's a theory of gravity.
The more mass an object has, the more gravity it exerts. So if you've got this large mass of helium and hydrogen, which is presumably what Jupiter is comprised of.
So how does helium and hydrogen collapse upon itself?
Well, I mean,
where do you get the gravity? You need something obviously bigger than the Earth to pull in that helium and hydrogen, because helium and hydrogen on Earth go up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So this is your mind scrambling to make sense of this, because it doesn't make sense. Buoyancy and density sort everything else out. The electrostatic flow flows down. Everything is statically charged. This blimp weighs a lot, but it floats. Why? Because of its buoyancy. This ship goes below. This ship floats. Okay. It's all buoyancy and density. Down is down because of the electrostatic flow. If you want to learn more about this, more technical, I'm selling you a car. I show you it has doors, it has wheels, it has an engine. I'm not sure how the engine works. Witsit gets it. WITSIT gets it. One word. On YouTube, he's the man that can explain all of the technical stuff. So there you go. All right, back to where do you want to go? The molten magnetic core.
Yeah, I mean, you drop that in, which again. So I mean, and again, like I'm a guy that reads a lot of stuff. I know that the magnetic core is what creates our magnetic field surrounding Earth. The magnetic field. We can say that the
or you believe.
I've been taught.
Okay.
I've been taught.
Told
that that the iron core of the Earth exerts its effects on Earth in the form of gravity. All right, and that it radiates magnetic fields, and we can see that in the aurora borealis. The aurora borealis captures photons as they're streaming from the sun to our planet, and we can look up in the sky and actually see the iron core doing its thing in the form of our magnetic field.
I can attest to the aurora borealis. I have seen it. So
no doubt. I believe it too.
do I get my
100%.
Bitcoin now?
No, that doesn't prove there's a globe.
Mac is campaigning for that Bitcoin.
You guys know
Let's
what
get it, Mac.
concerning magnets, you know what the Curie point is? They didn't teach you that in school either. Damn it. The Curie point is when you heat any magnet of any kind, before it melts, it hits the Curie point where it loses all its magnetism. So a molten magnetic core is like saying military intelligence. Okay, it's a misnomer that doesn't go together.
Right.
Okay.
So you're saying that as if it's molten and heated, it loses its gravitational
before it melts.
You're right. Okay.
It's magnetic, not gravity. Magnetic.
Or magnetic. Yeah.
Do you know how magnets work? Science doesn't. I don't. They don't even know how a magnet works. They know how to make a magnet. They know how to manipulate magnets. They can't explain it.
Right.
Okay. Because if they did, the whole gravitational model would fall apart. The other thing is the deepest hole ever dug is 7.8 miles. They couldn't get any deeper. Flat or globe, right? So that's like drilling a fraction of the way through the skin of an apple. And why they were drilling, they were wrong every step of the way. Hey, there's no more rocks. Hey, there's no more water, right? They were wrong every step of the way because they were using ground penetrating radar. And then they hit an impenetrable barrier.
Right. Yeah.
Couldn't get through it for years. And then they're like, okay, we now know what the next 4,000 miles is, right? And they made up this meme that you grew up on. It's a pseudoscience meme with zero proof and a discrepancy of what actual science tells us, a molten magnetic core. Okay, so the North Pole. So do you know how let me just find a quick little map here. So the North Pole is the center of our world. Okay, what do I mean by that? The North Pole is at the center. It's the axis on a spinning ball in space. Let's get back to that because I think you guys want to talk about the North Star also. So we have our North Pole here, right? I believe that we live on a dielectric plane inside a toroidal field. Okay, you know what a toroid is? And we're on the plane in between that. Okay, and so you have energy coming out of the center and going up, and that's what you're seeing interacting with photons, all the interaction. That's where you're seeing it, and it wraps up and around, and it goes down, and you might even see some aurora stuff out here in the south. I haven't seen it. But that's just the magnetic fields, right? There's magnetic fields all over the earth. And if you look at tides, it's crazy how they match up with magnetic fields and not the motion of the moon. Okay. So on a ball with with the magnetic core, we have our North Pole and we have our South Pole. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There should be some symmetry. Like when you're, X distance, when you're in the north, your compass, which compass has to lay flat, but somehow works on a ball, points to the north. And when you cross the equator, your compass should point to the South Pole, the magnetic South Pole, because that's how magnets work. But no compass points to the South Pole. No matter where you are, they always point to the North Pole, right? And when you get all the way out to Antarctica, which we claim is out here, you're so far from the North Pole, compasses don't even work. That's weird, right? If the Earth is a ball, there should be some symmetry. The other thing is, in Antarctica, let me find it for a second.
Paul, are you seeing this? Are you understanding the flat Earth map here?
Yeah.
I was like a container where our world is like this big lake with all the continents spread out. It's just it took me a minute to be able to kind of see that.
So they
Yeah.
you know, a lake, a pond needs a container, and that container is the land that's higher than the water. Because if the land was lower, the water would flow away, right?
Right.
So every lake, every pond has land all the way around that's higher.
Yeah, and I know this question's been asked a cajillion times because that begs the question, well, why don't we eventually, if we can take a plane ride, why can't we why isn't the edge clear to all of us? You know, this edge that contains this pond.
Why? What are you saying? Why don't we see the edge?
So you exactly. You said that there is, and so that let's call that white area on the outer edge. Isn't that the wall that contains the pond
Well,
in the flat Earth model?
right. They want you to believe that we live. That there's an ice wall. There is no ice wall. There's the Antarctic shoreline, and then there's Antarctica after that. Here's some videos and some images of the shoreline of Antarctica. It's 200 feet higher than the water. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So where's the ice wall? There's a billion pictures of the ice wall.
I see.
The ice shoreline. Okay.
Right.
And guess what? It's off limits. Anything beyond 60 degrees south is off limits. Okay. But yeah, you can take a tour. You know, thousands of people go every year. I don't think thousands go, but it doesn't even matter if hundreds of thousands go, because they take you to a little point, right? They take you to this little peninsula here. They take you to an island called Deception Island, right next to Rothschild Island. Okay. And they show you some penguins, and they don't let you explore. But
why did you emphasize Rothschild? There was something.
It just these are the people that we see, the puppets that are running the world for us, but they're puppets of the real leaders.
Right.
And so what's out here? What's out here? Well, if we live here, what would you call this? I'd call this the outer space. This is where we live, in the inner space. This is the outer space, right? And what if there was and by the way, anything beyond 60 degrees south is speculation. But what if the world was set up like this? We live here. This is Antarctica. This could be 1,000 miles wide. And then out here is more land, extra territory. So if somebody lived here, you might consider them an extra terrestrial from the extra terra. And if they came to visit us, where are they coming from? Outer space. Here on Earth, scientifically possible. Okay? There's books in the app under the books page. There's a book called Iron Republic, The Navigator Across the Ice Wall, all talking about lands beyond Antarctica. Admiral Byrd, when he did Project High Jump, he went out there and he said that there's lands bigger than the United States that no human has ever set eyes upon, filled with resources. And then all the countries in the world sign a treaty saying nobody can go there and look. Nobody can go there and explore. Okay? That's a little suspicious, don't you think? In a time where we're having wars over land and resources and nonsense, and displacing people and, and destroying the Amazon and all sorts of stuff. Now there's a place where there's no trees, no people, no animals, filled with resources, bigger than the United States. And everyone agrees that we can't go there, right? All of the world, Russia, China, we're all fighting. But everyone agrees on two things. Can't go to Antarctica, and you got to get this thing stuck in your arm, okay? Something's going on here, right? Something's going on here, right? But getting back to the symmetry, okay? Getting back to the symmetry.
You know what?
Good.
What is your theory as to what's going on? And maybe this isn't maybe this isn't a show about that, but I mean, I'm sure you have your beliefs or your ideas. What would be the end game of such a plan?
It's all about control of the people. It's all about control of the people. And I'm going to show you guys where to get more information on that. And don't listen. I speculate on a lot of things. I base a lot of it on evidence. I base a lot of it on history. And I want you to don't believe, nobody should believe anything I say. Go out and verify this stuff yourself. I'm going to show you where you can find all this information.
Yeah. Look, I am. I mean, I'm going to. You know, we're covering a lot of stuff fast, and some of it is registering, and some of it I'll have to revisit it. But you know, like I'm open. I like exploring alternative ideas, or what some might call alternative ideas.
I got you. So
and I'm skeptical in nature. So you know.
Follow me here. So we have our distant sun, and we have our Earth, and here's the equator right here. And so on the equinox, March, right now, we're right on the equinox. It's the straight rays are here, and you know the north is tilted away a little bit. But when we tilt over, we get more direct light, and that's our summer. And when we tilt away in the winter, it's the sun rays are spread out. Okay. Now let me ask you a question: can I tilt the ball this way and this way? Sure. Right. So the relationship of the United States right here and the sun, let's say the sun's directly on it. I tilt it away, that's winter. I tilt it towards it, that's summer. You with me?
Right.
Okay.
That's the wobble of, according to the rounder, the wobble of the axis of the Earth.
It's not the wobble, it's just the tilt. So when we come around the sun, you're tilted away, and when you're on this side, you're tilted towards it. Okay. So we're spinning and spinning and spinning. And that's what they claim the season. But let me ask you a question. The angle of the sun is what causes it. So let me ask a question. I tilt it away, that's our winter. I tilt it towards it, that's our summer. What happens when we spin away? It's now even a more severe angle. Okay.
Right.
The spin. Right. So every day at sunrise and sunset, it should be winter. Every day it should be winter, but it's not. Okay. And also, for 6 months, in June, we're tilted towards the sun. And then in December, we're tilted away. Well, an equal latitude south, 6 months apart, should have the corresponding weather. Okay. Corresponding life, corresponding everything. Right. So the equator is 0 degrees. It goes all the way up to the North Pole, 90 degrees, and all the way down to the South Pole, 90 degrees south. Right. But there should be, at equal latitudes, equal life, equal weather, equal everything 6 months apart. But if we look, let me read this. No plants, no life, no plant of any kind, not even a lichen of moss has been found within 64 degrees parallel south latitude. 64 degrees south, nothing. While in the north, much farther north, not even 60, 83, and an elevation of 2,000 feet above sea level, there's no absence of animal life, any kind, animals, plants, trees, four-legged creatures, birds, potatoes, everything. Okay. That makes 0 sense on a globe Earth, but on a flat Earth, it makes absolute perfect sense. Let me show you how seasons work. All right. So here's my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. I'll make it, actually, I'm going to show you right here. So here is, you see these two yellow lines, the outer yellow line and the inner yellow line? Do you see it? Do I need to make it bigger?
Yeah.
I can make it bigger. You want me to make it bigger?
Yeah.
Oops.
You mean
Hold on. So this outer yellow, I can't point to it. The outer yellow line. See, the sun right now is on the red line. That's the equator, because we're in the equinox right now. The outer yellow line, the one that goes over Australia, that's the Tropic of Capricorn. Hang with me. This is really easy. The inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. Okay. So the sun migrates out to the Tropic of Capricorn on December 21st. And where are we now? We're in March, April, May, June. So in June, it goes all the way in, and it's over the Tropic of Cancer. Now, where are you guys located? What state?
California.
You're in California. Well, California
is Arizona, but I drive a truck.
So I'm in Connecticut, and in June, it's nice and warm here in Connecticut. Now, watch the sun. It's going to go right over Miami. It's going right over Miami. In June, it's friggin' hot in Miami. That's because the sun is directly above them. Okay? It's close. It's winter in Australia in June because the sun is far away. But 6 months later, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the sun moves out, and it's summer in Australia in December. And when the sun comes around, it's over here for us. It's far away. What happens when something's far away? it's lower in the sky. Not because of the tilt of a ball floating through space. It's lower in the sky. Let's do an analogy. You come to visit me here in Connecticut in February, okay? And you find out I'm not here because I'm actually in Mexico, but I came here and it's freezing cold. We're outside. We're sitting in a football field. We're 20 feet apart because we don't want to infect each other with the boogeyman, okay? And we're freezing our asses off, all right? We're freezing our asses off and we're trying to drink beer, but our beers are frozen, right? And then Mac comes over, Paul, and has a big stick, holds a giant heat lamp directly over your head, 15 feet in the air. Okay. Now you look up and oh, that's nice. You take off your coat, your beer melts, you feel good. And I say, hey, Mac, how you doing? You go, oh, it's nice here. You're in your t-shirt now, right? Because that heat is radiating down on you. It's close to you and it's high in the sky. Okay. And I say, hey, where is that light? Where do you see it? And you go, it's right there. But I'm 20 feet away and I go, oh, it's over there for me. It's much lower in the sky for me. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can barely feel that heat. I'm freezing. I'm zipped up. My beer's still frozen. Then Mac walks over to me slowly. It actually takes him 6 months to get over to me. Okay. And he doesn't lower the light at all. And you watch the light and you go, oh, there it goes. There it goes. What's it doing? It's getting lower and lower and lower. To me, I see it. Excuse me. I see it getting higher and higher and higher. And I'm getting warmer and warmer and warmer. And now it's above me. And I'm experiencing summer. Everything in between these two lines, everything in between them, you know what we call that area of the world? What's there? You got the Caribbean, you got Mexico, that's called the tropics. You know why? Yeah. Because it's in between the tropics and the sun passes over them twice a year. So if you're anywhere in the tropics, the sun will cross over you once and then it'll cross over you again. That's why everything's warm, because the sun never gets far away. But I'm here in Connecticut. The sun comes towards me, doesn't quite get to me, and then it goes away again. That's why it's winter. And down here in Santiago, the sun gets close, never crosses, never gets above them, and then goes away again. Okay? That's how seasons work. Seasons on the globe are absolutely nonsensical, ridiculous, make no sense, because in the summer, at dawn in June, when the sun appears on the horizon, first, that's the most tilted you can be away from the sun, because we can tilt a ball any way we want. So the sun is literally on the horizon. It's not high in the sky. It's on the horizon. It's 3.5 million miles farther away than it is during our winter. That's weird. In our summer, it's farther than it is in our winter. And I could look at the sun in the summer and feel the heat on my face immediately when it's tilted far away. But in the winter, in December, when the sun is high in the sky at noon, I can't even feel the heat on my face. And it's 3.5 million miles closer. Okay?
Does this flat Earth model still adhere to the concept that the Earth is somehow moving around the sun, or is the sun moving around the Earth in this flat Earth?
Very good.
The Earth does not move. The Earth is the basement of the universe. That's how I describe it. Excuse me. The Earth is the basement. The sun is small. It's local. It's here within our system, and it's just moving around the Earth. It migrates in and it migrates out. It's small. Go and look at the sun. It's right there in the sky. There's blue sky behind it. Look at the full moon in the day sky. There's blue sky behind it. Okay? It's here within the Earth system. What are they? How far are they? How big are they? I don't know. I can't go up there. You can't measure it. We don't even know if it's three-dimensional or physical. And then when you look at the heliocentric model, we got the sun rays coming in parallel. No one's ever seen parallel sun rays. They all come in crepuscular. And it heats the world like this. But if you look at it on a flat Earth map, this red area is the tropics. That's where the sun stays. It goes around and around and around, and it heats up. The heat map of the world shows you the impossibility of the heliocentric, ridiculous, nonsensical model.
So can you like touch a little bit on how like you believe that there's and I'm not singling you out, people who are considering themselves flat earthers believe there is some sort of a container, right? And that, I mean, obviously to hold in the air, to keep the air from just jetting out into the empty void of space. So there would have to be some sort of container. I've heard some people refer to it as the firmament. And then, so you're saying the sun is local. That means it's going around this circle of the flat earth uh, inside that container, the sun and the moon.
So first off, you're you're making an assumption that space, that the air would fly off into space. We don't believe in a space. It's scientifically impossible. And there's a lot of Christian flat earthers, but that has nothing to do with flat earth. Although the Bible has over 200 verses that talk about a flat, non-rotating, non-moving, fixed in its position, never to move earth. And the Bible actually makes a lot more sense with stars falling to earth. I'm like, when I heard that, I'm like, I discounted the Bible years ago. Like, how could a star fall to earth? Stars are gigantic, would eat the earth. But when you understand that all of the stuff is here within the earth system, then who knows what stars are? Maybe they're angels. Who knows? Maybe they're souls. Okay. It makes a lot of sense. But is there a dome? I think there's some sort of containment. There's evidence of that. And whistleblowers, from NASA, claim that there is something, but it doesn't look like this big high dome, right? It's. I think it's much lower. I would almost describe the sky as flat, but we see the world through what we call our azimuthal grid of vision, or our personal atmospheric dome. We can only see so far in all directions, right? So there is some sort of dome. The first page of the Bible says God separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament. Okay. Werner von Braun, the Nazi scientist that ran NASA, on his gravestone, all it says is Psalms 19:1. He looked that up. It says it's about the God separating the waters from the waters and creating the firmament. Why is a Nazi rocket scientist that ran NASA have Psalms 19:1 on his gravestone? Is that a revelation of the method? Is that a deathbed confession? Right? Here's his gravestone. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Here's the thing. We don't have a rock solid model because we've just been trying to figure this out with all the censorship and restrictions on where we can go. Some flat earthers think there is no dome. I think that's ridiculous, but that's okay. We all know the same thing. We're on a level horizontal plane. A ball, a lumpy rock surrounded with curving water, surrounded by air, adjacent to a void, flying on ridiculous speeds forever and ever, and nothing ever changes, is scientifically moronic. Okay? You guys know about the Georgia Guidestones?
Yeah, we did an episode about them getting blown up about a week after.
Let me just backtrack for 1 second, if I may, because you mentioned it, and it stayed with me. So the flat earthers believe there is no vacuum of space. There's no space. Is that correct? Did I hear that correctly?
I'm not speaking for everybody, but sure. Having a void of no pressure,
right,
makes no sense. You can't do it, right? Gravity holds down the air in a Glober's mind, but clouds of water vapor, which weigh more than air molecules, with trillions of tons of water, float in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Electrostatically, they float. Okay.
Right.
Electrostatically. This is, the Globers, they want to say that gravity holds down the air. I'm sorry. You can't do it. And I can prove it. I remember my bottle example. I open the bottle, sucks the air up. That's off the table. Good.
Which would indicate
that one was very illuminating for me, and it really did, like, it's one of the ones that puts me up there on the fence where I'm like, yeah, how do you have an empty void of space adjacent to a high pressure system? That doesn't make any vacuum cleaners wouldn't work,
Well, space isn't a vacuum cleaner. Space is a void of pressure and air, gases. fill
I mean,
available space.
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
space being a vacuum cleaner. I'm just saying that like the idea of creating a vacuum, that idea wouldn't work and people wouldn't be able to like clean their floors if
So they say the vacuum of space is, they measure vacuums in Tor. I think it's Tor 17. They can't even create that in a vacuum chamber here on Earth. NASA has their vacuum chamber. I think it goes to Tor 10 maybe or 7 or whatever. And the walls are 10 feet thick, made of steel and concrete, so it doesn't implode on itself. Okay.
Right.
But we can send a lunar module made out of tinfoil, that holds air pressure and men, I'm sorry.
What is this? What the vacuum of space is supposedly what? Tor 17, I think you said?
Yeah.
In negative pressure, in vacuum
In no pressure. Yeah. That's a vacuum.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
Wow.
the reason I laugh when you brought up the lunar module is because all of this stuff is very new to me. I remember being a kid and being like, there are crazy people out there who think that we didn't go to the moon. What are you talking about? But the more and more I've learned that, video can be faked. I can fake video on my computer. I don't do that sort of thing because I just don't have time for it. But you look at some of these images that you and others will share about this right here, and you're just like, how did I not see it? How did I not see that?
Look
Right.
at
like
this thing.
Toilet paper
Yeah.
tube and shit.
If I showed you this, excuse me.
I actually took a good hard look at that maybe a couple of weeks ago. I think Mac was telling me about this show.
We were at Cara's, and Cara was showing us.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And because I've never really scrutinized it, and when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, that can't be the real. No, that can't be the real actual lunar lander or the capsule. And
Today,
I looked at it, I was like, that is fucking nuts. Are we? Yeah, I don't know if we always cuss on this show. Yeah, that's nuts.
and this is that.
By the way, Dave, you can say whatever the fuck you want here.
Right. No problem. I try to keep it clean because so many people have a problem with words, but they're okay that, millions of kids go missing every year and all sorts of stuff. They're okay with that, but they have a problem with, the 4-letter words.
An F-bomb. Right.
F-bomb. So this is like a paper mache tape, scotch tape. I mean, if you actually get a good picture and zoom in, okay, look at this leg. Wouldn't all the legs kind of be the same? You look at this one's got tinfoil and tape and it's got things here, but then you compare it to the other leg, it's different, right? And then if you compare it to another leg, completely different. It's like they ran out of art supplies, right? Look at this. Eric DeBay says it really well. He says, if a sheetrocker sheetrocked your house like this, you'd be entitled to a full refund. Okay.
Right,
but this is a technological, marvel, right? Absolute, complete and total insanity. We could spend hours on the moon landing, but if you let me see. I have
I watched the other day. I watched the documentary. Well, first of all, I've seen Next Level. You were involved in that project,
nice.
As well as Hibbler
Productions. So we got Level and the Next Level, and then on Flat Earth Day, which is April 22nd, formerly known as Earth Day, he's coming out with Level with me. It's going to be the game changer. Got Eddie Bravo in it. You got me in it. You got Bryce Mitchell is in it. And a whole bunch of other people, and it is a game changer. NASA is in big trouble in this one.
Where are we going to be able to see that?
That'll be on Hibbler Production. If you go to hibblerproductions.com, but if you go on my website, everything that I talk about today, you can find flatearthdave.com. There'll be a link to Level. If you have the app, you're going to get a pop-up notification. The movie's out. Click here, right? The app will feed you everything. It bypasses Google censorship. But just look at this. This is the LEM that they landed on the moon. This thing fell at 4,000 miles an hour, right? Never tested on Earth. And all of a sudden, the rocket stopped it and landed it without kicking up any dust, okay? It was a 10,000-pound engine, thrust engine, okay? Right? Mm-hmm. And the thruster, the jet part is down here, okay?
Right.
It's down here. So this is when it left. And I guess they left some guy on the moon filming it because it pans up. But watch, it leaves the rocket part down here. How the heck is it going up? Did it just have an explosion that sent them up? Like if I put an M80 underneath a rock and it exploded and the rock would just float away? Where's the thruster?
Right.
Okay. By the way, in there, 2 grown men, a car, golf clubs, all sorts of stuff. Okay. Nonsense. Right? The car. They pulled the car out of here. Golf clubs, everything. Right? The thruster's down here. The thruster's down here. Right? And then these guys aren't even in chairs. They're in this thing. Right? You ever been in a boat in calm water? You're in a small boat, and if you move your position, the boat moves. Right? How's this thing just floating up? Like, what if the guy moves over or sneezes? What the thing's gonna cartwheel? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing went up to meet up with the lunar orbiter, and then somehow they injected some matter. I don't know where they keep the mass to get out of the lunar orbit and fall back to Earth faster than they got there.
Just for my clarification, what we are looking at right now is actual actual footage of the lunar module, NASA's footage of the lunar module.
This is NASA's module. So let me ask a question. They got a camera that pans up and zooms back. Okay. They got the 1960s auto zooming technology. How did they get the film back to Earth? They Wi-Fi it? We can't even, when Felix Baumgartner did the Red Bull jump, it went to 127,000 feet. They lost communications with him at 127,000 feet. Okay. How the heck did they talk to the moon? How the heck did the camera pan? Okay. Absolute insanity. Right. And check this out. Watch this, guy. Wait, hold on. Let me just go back. If you're on the moon, the only source of light is the sun. So here's this guy's shadow. It's going over here. Where's the sun? It's over here, because you can see he's lit up from this side. Now watch carefully. Watch carefully. The sun's behind him, right? And we're just panning to the right, panning to the right, panning to the right. Wait, where is he? Oh, there he is. And look, so there's the shadow. It's over there, right?
Right.
It seems like the sun came around a little bit. But let's go. He goes farther, panning to the right, panning to the right, panning to the right. Whoa, 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 whoa. How did the sun get over there?
What?
Thank you. We didn't go to the moon. Nonsense. There
are 100 more things that are just they're very simple. They're very simple. They tell you without a doubt there's no way we went to the moon. They're very simple little things like that's a simple thing.
In the words of Joe Rogan, there's no way we went to the moon until he got $100 million contract. Then he's like, of course we went to the moon.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I listen to Rogan just for the guests. I like to hear some of what the guests say, but he's gone off the rails a little bit.
Dave calling out Joe Rogan, the Messiah of the podcast world. What?
Yeah, he's sold out. I got some videos on my channel, DITRH. Search my channel for Joe Rogan. He'd lie to his mother. That's what he said. He'll lie to his mother. Show me the money. Okay. So next time you get on an airplane, and let me tell you something, when you're at altitude on an airplane, you're not in a vacuum of space, but the air pressure is slightly lower, literally slightly lower. So I want you to get a water bottle, half full or whatever, and seal it up while you're on the ground. And when you get to altitude, open it. What's going to happen? It's going to expand. Right?
Expand.
And go Google on YouTube vacuum chamber, and they put soda cans in there and they suck all the air out. The can explodes.
Yeah. And conversely, if you open it and then close it when you land,
it crunches.
Right.
How come when these guys go into space, they don't explode like the Michelin State Puft Marshmallow Man? Right? How come when these guys are out here?
These questions I think are just rhetorical.
Yeah, but every question's rhetorical. Every question's
I mean,
rhetorical.
in that case, I would say, well, there is skin and tissue that's holding us all together. In that case, there's an actual membrane. Call our skin and bodies membranes. That is,
Do you know NASA put a astronaut in a suit in a vacuum chamber once, and before they got all the air out of it, the liquid in his mouth started boiling, and he passed out, and they almost lost him. They had to depressurize it so fast to go in there and get him. Right? How come they don't have guys running around in vacuum chambers? Right? This in the 1960s, these batteries and all this stuff. This can handle 250 degrees Fahrenheit and negative 250 degrees. Okay, all within minutes or an hour of each other. And I say, put an astronaut in here in the middle of summer. Put him out in the desert in Death Valley, okay, for an hour and see if he's still alive. Okay, there's no way. There's no way, right? And also, look at this thing. Look at it's a snowboarding suit, for Christ's sake. Okay, it would explode. You say membranes? That's just a word. Right?
Oh, you've changed your image to the moon.
Oh, sorry. This is what I'm showing you.
There we go.
This is what I'm showing you. Sorry about that. There's this would explode. Look at this. This is like a snowboarding suit. Okay.
I actually can't see it. Can you? Because never mind. Not a big deal.
If you go on yours and click in the upper right hand corner, click speaker view, or just click on mine and just pin me. If you click on my window on the three dots and say pin,
yeah,
you can pin it, and then I'll just stay up the whole time. All right.
Okay. All right.
And then they give us images like this. Absolute nonsense. Right. You would explode. Just show me a vacuum chamber. Put something in there that has air in it that's soft, like one of their suits. And again. This is the Artemis guys. Look at their boots. These are. I have these same boots. Okay, these are space boots.
Right.
That's actually the first thing that brought into question the whole space thing for me was, or the idea that we haven't been to space or walked on the moon was the mistake that they made by showing the footprints on the moon, the supposed footprints on the moon, and then Neil Armstrong's supposed spacesuit in the Smithsonian or whichever museum they displayed it in, and the footprints are absolutely different. Like from the boots, the bottom of the boots are sort of flat and smooth, and you remember those iconic footprints on the moon? They have like ridges in them, and that was the first thing that I was like, wait a minute, that's a pretty egregious mistake.
Absolutely. And the NASA apologists will say, oh, they had over booties that they put on them. They had like, snow boots that they put over them.
That I even heard that like they were like, oh, well, that's not they altered the spacesuit or something like that. I'm like, well, what's the point of putting a spacesuit in a museum for people to see if you're not going to put the real thing in there?
Right. Absolutely. And they'll just say that they wear like a moon boot, like moon boots. Over the shoe, right? And the other one's a shoe. You can see the stitching in it. Okay, remember if you're in like 40,000 feet in an airplane and the window breaks out, it sucks everyone out through the window. It rips their bodies to shreds. It's a violent depressurization, right?
Right.
No problem here on the moon. They're driving around. They're dune buggy. They're playing golf. They're hitting rocks. Bumping, no problem. Their voices aren't mumbling at all, aren't jumbled. Like if you were riding over rocks, you'd be like, you wouldn't be able to talk. Okay, it's all made up silliness. We could stay on the moon forever, but Wernher von Braun went out, said there's more land beyond Antarctica. Antarctic Treaty was thrown into place instantly, and then a year later, like, hey, we're going to the moon. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. We're going up there where you can't go. A bunch of Freemasons are going to allegedly go, and they're going to tell you shit that you can't verify yourself. Okay? Go back and look at the moon landing stuff, right? On the app.
I'm sorry. Let's backtrack to that timeline. Again, this is all new to me. You said that there was an Antarctic Treaty made, and then we went to the moon. What are you referring to exactly?
Yes. So the Antarctic Treaty... Here we go. It was in 1959. And so Project High Jump happened just before that. And they said, Admiral Byrd said there's more lands bigger than the United States beyond Antarctica. Well, that's a problem on a globe because beyond Antarctica is before Antarctica from the other side of the earth, right? And then 6 months later, he's dead. Weird. Okay. Pretty young guy. And he died in his sleep, heart attack. Weird. Right. And
he had the 6 booster.
He didn't. Stop that. The boosters, everyone needs to get boosted. Don't knock that. Right. God bless Dr. Fauci. All right. Sarcasm. So
yeah.
So then NASA was formed, and they said we're going to the moon, right? We're going to the moon, and there's nothing you can verify. And basically, all of this was done to keep you disconnected from who you are, where you are, and the true power of your mind, right? And people think, flat Earth is not real. There's nobody believes in flat Earth. Like if you listen to what's his name, Brian Cox, the guy, he's like, no one ever believed that the Earth is flat. Well, these are just the people that have my app. Okay, this isn't even all of them. This is only the people that are on the Friend Finder on my app. These are people that know we're being lied to, and this is growing rapidly. Okay, right? They're everywhere. Right? Go over to the UK. Look at this. Bam. They're everywhere. And people are waking up. This is the biggest awakening ever. But why would all of the countries, all of the space programs, all of them, why would they cooperate in this lie? What's the purpose of the lie? And the purpose of the lie is to hide the fact that you're at the center of creation, to hide the fact that you are truly your own master, that nobody has power over you, to hide the fact that there's more land, that there's more resources, that we're not overpopulated, okay? To hide the fact that there's technology, free energy technology, right? There was free energy technology. Have you guys looked into the lost history of our world much? Tartaria, that some people call it.
I've heard Tartaria quite a bit on Sam Tripoli's show, and the guy who books him has a show that I think you might have been on called My Family Thinks I'm Crazy. He talks quite a bit about Tartaria, and that is fascinating.
In the app.
So I'm like into anything, but I've probably listened to about a half a dozen.
Mac, you recommended this. I just started watching Ancient Apocalypse. Is that somehow involved in that series?
No.
No, it doesn't. It kind of dips into the idea that there were past civilizations, but it doesn't actually cover Tartaria.
So if you hit the web button on the app, right here is the Lost History Tartaria button. And Tartaria is like Band-Aid. It doesn't mean everything's Tartaria. It just means that it's talking about our lost world. In 150 years ago, we were far more advanced than we are now. The world was a completely different place. And they want you to think that we're at the height of civilization when the truth is we're in the middle of the movie Idiocracy. This button here, if you click it, okay, you're going to be you're going to be deep inside the rabbit hole. And you'll find videos from different creators there. Hey, I like that one. Subscribe to him. Subscribe. Then you'll have a list of stuff to watch. You'll never have enough time to watch as much as you want to watch, okay? But this stuff will blow your mind. In the homeschooling section, if you click the home button, we have all sorts of stuff. A podcast that will blow your mind. It's better than a college education. It's $8 a month. Crow 777 Radio. Don't send your kid to college. Send them to Crow. Listen to 5 episodes a week. That's it. That's their entire college. They're going to be a better functioning human than anyone that goes to any college. And it's only $8 a month. Okay. But one of the other guys that I like a lot is John Levy. He does a 20-minute video once a week. Watch those. Okay. Watch those and then make up your own mind. And then another one, which is not on the app, it's an Instagram channel. It's called, write this down. It's called I'm the Improbable Dreamer. All one words. I challenge anybody. I'm the Improbable Dreamer. All one word. Sit back on the couch. Flick on his videos. They're all Instagram videos. They're all like a minute long. And watch 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 of them. And your whole life will change.
Dave, real quick, and I don't know where we're at on time, Mac, but so if there is this land and resources beyond Antarctica, and we can, or our overlords, presumably, can they freely travel to that land? Do they currently have access to that land? Are they living there? What are your thoughts?
Presumably, right?
Well, presumably, but like John Kerry on election day went to Antarctica. Okay, weird. All these world leaders, they go to Antarctica. They go to you can track them. They're at South Pole Station, which is just a station near the shoreline, and then they disappear for 3 days. No word, and then they come back to South Pole Station and they go home. Where are they going? Maybe they're going to talk to their leaders. Okay, let me show you one thing. I've been showing on every podcast, so but this is important. This is a map that was found in a Buddhist temple, and if you Google it, Google will tell you, oh no, it's just a made-up map by an artist. Okay, it was published in 1910 in the Hawaiian Gazette, I believe, and it shows all of these other continents out here. So when you want to go to Antarctica, excuse me, you go from Santiago, and maybe you go right here. Let's say they bring you right here. Okay, well, this is bigger than all of North America, Mexico, Canada, right? It's 2 or 3 times the size. So you go here and they go, welcome to Antarctica, right? And let's say a lot of this water is frozen out here because it's far away from our sun. Remember, our sun is only in here, okay? Mm-hmm. And who knows if there's another sun out here, but that's another thing. So we were looking at this map, and we checked out this website that shows you can track ships, cargo ship tracking. And we saw these ships that were inside of the shoreline of Antarctica, okay? We saw ships that were 300, 400, 500 miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica, right? So we saw these ships waiting here, and we click on them, and it gives you very little information. You click on any of these ships, tons of information. Captain, where it's from, where it's going, days at sea, everything, right? This one just said it's 580 meters long, which is a gigantic ship, and it's registered in the island of Kiribati. You guys ever been to Kiribati?
No, but I've seen you talk about it.
Yeah. So where's Kiribati? It's in the middle of nowhere. It's a sandbar, right? I put a pin on it so I could find it. You zoom in, and the Chinese government gave them $10 billion. America says it's a very important island for international trade. Why is this little island important for international trade? Why are they going to Antarctica? And how are they going into Antarctica? What if Kiribati has a trade route to these outer lands, to these extra terra? Maybe this is where we get our computer chips from. Maybe this is where they're trading, where all the missing children go. Maybe we're getting all of our fresh tuna from out there. I don't know. Okay. But
well, that's an interesting point.
But the question is, how would you know? And again, I'm not claiming that I know this for a fact. I'm claiming we want the right to go explore these lands. Right?
Yeah.
And then just one other funny thing about Kiribati, with looking into it, they have the Captain Cook Hotel. Captain Cook is the one that explored Antarctica. What's this little island in the middle of the South Pacific? Get the Captain Cook Hotel for. Okay? Maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty weird. Pretty friggin' weird.
Okay, so you give me the 3 Bitcoin, and I will get like 10 ships and fill them with people, and we'll just go raid. We'll go raid Antarctica.
Doesn't work that way. In the app, if you hit the frequently asked questions button, you click the Antarctica button. There's a video called "Sorry, Antarctica's Closed," made by one of our great researchers who's a lawyer. And he did all the work for you to show you that you can't go to Antarctica to independently explore. And
no, I understand that, yeah. But I'm saying, like, so you just showed how many people simply are signed up for the subscription on your app. Don't you think that that's enough people to band together? They can't, they can't sink every ship.
But when we're doing a live stream, and we're doing a live stream, let's say we have 1,000 people watching live, and they love the live stream on YouTube. They're in their homes with their shoes off, drinking their tea, coffee, beer, whatever, on their couch. watching the live stream and they love it. You know how hard it is to get them to click the like button? And you want me to get people to give up their jobs, their families, expense, get on ships and planes and go somewhere where you can't even get them to click the friggin' like button? It's not happening. I'm sorry. And they're not going to let you go there. And if they, at this point, the truth is, and we know this, if they let us explore Antarctica or even the North Pole, the game is over. So what are they going to go? Oh, there's all these people going, no, they got us now. We're going to give up our empire that's been here for hundreds or thousands of years. That's not happening either.
Let me ask this, because this is something that popped into my head. So we've had several Challenger space shuttle missions. So the space shuttle is supposed to strafe the stratosphere and put satellites into orbit, et cetera, et cetera. And there have been many crews on those shuttles. And now more recently, we've seen regular folk like William Shatner get shot up into the stratosphere, some aspect of, the upper atmosphere of Earth. And, via Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they've gone up into the sky and viewed the planet.
Well, William Shatner is an actor, right?
Yeah,
right.
Right. What I'm saying, what I'm getting at is like, all right, so there've been a lot of supposedly, if you believe all of this, there have been a lot of people high up in the atmosphere of our planet, and I suspect that they could see something from that far up. Are they all? What are your thoughts on that?
Nobody ever goes up on a rocket, ever. No person ever is on any of those rockets. This is William Shatner landing. Did you see that landing? That fat old man is in a chair, and that chair impacts.
Can you rewind that again?
Here.
Yeah.
Here it comes. So this is free falling out of the sky, right? And look at this shot. They always show, and then look at this. It's kind of going sideways, right? And then here they are in the chair, and then slam. Right? Slam.
That's a pretty major impact.
That is a massive impact. Okay? Yeah. A massive impact. Now, what happens? You ever go to a marathon or a fair or something? What do they always have there? They have EMS there because somebody could get hurt. Well, this guy just got slingshotted. This 94-year-old guy, however old he is, he got slingshotted into the sky, floated around, slams into the desert. You think that there's any medical
EMS?
Nothing. Okay.
I used to photograph horse shows for the really ultra wealthy, and they always had medical staff on hand in case somebody fell off their horse. They didn't go to space and then come back and fall off their horse.
Right. So
these guys. So you're saying nobody ever goes into space?
So we mentioned, why don't they ever look out the window? And the next shot, they're all looking out the window. But watch this. Edit. Okay, edit. And everyone's in different positions. This is just done on a zero-G plane in a little studio in a zero-G plane, right? Edit. They never show you more than 3 or 4 seconds at the most, and then edit again. And here's William Shatner, and if you listen to the audio, it's so ridiculous. It's like, oh, wow. It's like the worst actor ever, okay? And they want you, this is just a zero-G plane. You know what a zero-G plane is, right? You get like 30, 40 seconds. You know what a zero-G plane is?
Oh, yeah.
You got like 30 or 40 seconds of weightlessness. Right. So they got this little capsule studio. They never show you 360, right? It's just like a little studio in the plane. And that's what they do. And then they want you to believe that these guys are up here. The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. It launches up and then it comes down and lands, a friggin' 100 yards away from where it took off. Okay? Right. I'm sorry. At 40,000 feet, there's 200-mile-an-hour winds. Okay? So when this thing's falling back to Earth, it's going to be miles and miles and miles, hundreds of miles, thousands of miles from where it took off. No problem. It defies all of that.
Right. And the space shuttle stuff, just a circus, horse and pony show, just what?
Yeah.
I'm asking just to get your thoughts, because again, this is all brand new to me, and I'm recalling from things that I can.
Right. You're going to see in the Level with Me coming out on Flat Earth Day, April 22nd. There's going to be a lot about the space shuttle and the fakery at NASA, and it's going to be a game changer again.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, and I'm not trying to, I mean, I'm just saying like, okay.
I know that you're asking great questions. I love it. I love it, Paul.
Yeah, I'm like, these are shit. I'm 50, I've been around a while. I'm like, oh, well, what about?
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have one brother, one sister.
Okay. If, and God forbid, nothing ever happens to anybody, but if one of them died, would you show up at the funeral? Yeah.
Of course.
If you had a twin brother, would you show up at his funeral?
Yeah.
Would you speak at his funeral, maybe? Probably.
Sure.
Unless you're so broken up you couldn't speak, right? Whoops, not what I want to show you. Where is it? That. Oh, that's, here we go. Where did it go? My shuttle. Where did my crew go? I had it. Shuttle. Oh, here we go. All right, sorry about that. So the Challenger that blew up, and it was the first time they wheeled televisions into every classroom. Every little kid saw this. This is called trauma-based mind control and kicking the can down the road. Well,
the teacher, that woman right there is the
teacher. Mr. McCauley. Yeah, Mr. McCauley. So this was traumatizing, and it bought them decades of time. Okay, so all of these 6 astronauts have identical twins that are teaching at universities. They all go by the same name, and they are now the spokesman for NASA in their siblings, the siblings' place. Cool. They all have identical twins. They all go by the same name. This one right here, I forget her name off the top of my head. She's a Yale professor, law professor, and we have video of her teaching, using her hands, talking, and everything. And then we have video of her as a astronaut. Same speech, same dimple, same hand motion, same voice, same everything. Okay, but let's write all that off. Oh, it's just coincidence. Not everyone has a doppelganger.
They all have. Everybody shown there has a twin.
Has a twin.
Correct.
They all work for universities,
according to the official narrative.
And none of them showed up at their sibling's funeral.
Okay.
like NASA will have you believe that every single one of these people who died in the Space Shuttle Challenger has a twin, an identical twin, and they're still alive and they have these various professions and everything. None of those siblings showed up to speak at a funeral of their very famous counterpart.
And this guy, Dick Scobie, when we found him, he had a company called Cows and Trees. I don't even know what it does, but his website had when you went to his website, had an animation at the beginning of a cow taking off like a rocket, leaving a smoke trail out of its butt, doing loop-de-loops, and leaving the same pattern, a very similar pattern that everyone knows of the space shuttle blowing up. And then that went viral, and they quickly pulled that down. That website disappeared, but we still have the video. Okay. To learn more about that and level with me, you'll be notified on the app. But let's just look at the space shuttle for a second. Okay. This is the space shuttle. Which one of these? This is the SR-71. Which one of these is an aerodynamic precision instrument?
The SR-71 Blackbird.
It is thin. Why does it have any paint on it?
Isn't that radar technology?
Does the paint peel off maybe?
Because it gets so hot because of the friction that the paint would peel off. Okay. This thing goes Mach 3.2 times the speed of sound. It doesn't have paint on it. And when you look at this thing straight on, it's like, where'd it go? Right? It's a razor blade.
Yeah.
This thing.
It's a Mack truck.
Goes Mach 33, fully painted. It's got like PVC piping going down the side, right?
It's space paint. That's space paint.
It's
I know NASA spent $8 billion making space paint.
On space paint. Is that what it is? Right?
Yeah.
and
it had a special.
It weighs 4 million pounds at takeoff.
Yeah. Hey, let's ask Sherman Williams.
It weighs 4 million pounds at takeoff, and this windy takeoff, why is it blowing around like it's a bouncy house filled with helium?
Dude, I was hoping you would show this. That is fascinating.
Right?
Say it again. Say it again. Like I'm sorry. Say the stats again.
It weighs 4 million pounds. Okay.
Sure. It's loaded with rocket
if
fuel
you Google space shuttle launch, you're going to find this launch here, right? So it falls over on its back. Always found that weird, right? This is a helium balloon. It's wobbling around. Okay. But let me find the one I want to show you.
It's like a bouncy house, Paul.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that the kids get in and jump around. You get look at that thing.
Look at this. But this is a helium tank. Think of that. This is a Macy's Day balloon. This is a balloon. There's no people in here. This is just a model with some fireworks at the bottom. Okay. And when it takes off, it goes downstream. I'm trying to find the video. Maybe this is it. Excuse me.
This is like Tom Cruise's middle tooth. You can't unsee it, man.
Yeah. So again, I always wondered, like, why does it go so slow? Right now, watch right here. It's going to go up, and in a second. Oh, and these people, they're so far away you can't even see it. But they edit it to make it look like they're right there. They're not right there. They're 11 miles away minimum.
Right.
You can't even see it. Look, they can't even see it. This might be it. I don't even think that's real. Okay, but watch this thing. When it takes off, watch right here. You're going to see it go up and then back down. You don't lift 4 million pounds and then drop it back down again. Okay. And so you see all of this smoke. Now, when you see a smoke trail, yes, they're launching something, helium balloon. But when there's no smoke trail, it's completely fake. There are no witnesses. You think there's witnesses. Okay. But this thing goes downwind, right? And then the external tanks, which can't be turned off, they release. And when you watch it release in the video, you hear the psh, the second they come off. So they release and you hear it just as you see it. Now, this is 30 miles down range. If it was only 20 miles down range, it would take 90 seconds for that sound to come back. Just like thunder and lightning.
Sure.
90 seconds. But we hear it and see it at the same time. Now, the global apologists will go, well, they had they were filming it from the ground, but the recording came from on the space shuttle. They're just making up shit. This thing is going Mach, I don't know, 15, whatever. These things are going sideways at Mach 15. Did you see that? They're going sideways.
Yeah, they'd get ripped to shreds.
They'd be over, right?
They'd get ripped to shreds, sure. At that
absolutely, absolute insanity, right? But here is let me show you this though. This is the one that's going to ruin you. This is the empty 20-ton metal external tank falling back to Earth. Does it look like it's falling? Now I want you to watch over here where my finger is. In a moment, you're going to see a piece of tissue float by. It's going to let you brain realize how fast this thing is moving, right? In about 5 seconds, you're going to see it. Oh, there it goes. Piece of tissue. This is 20 tons falling.
Right.
How was a skydiver following it with a camera? No. You know who's filming this? The guys on the shuttle that are on their way to space at 25,000 miles an hour, on their way up. They're filming out the window and they're filming this.
Yeah, he's in the bathroom taking a shit. That's where that tissue came from.
Yeah. Makes more sense, right? Is this a 20,000 pound metal tank that's going to atomize before it gets to those clouds? Or is this a Macy's Day Parade balloon?
That's just astonishing to me because
you also even if you were in a helicopter filming this, it's out of sight. It's gone. It fell so fast, but they're on the rocket ship going in the opposite direction up at Mach 25.
I drive a semi truck for a living, and I know that if this thing got dropped out of the sky, it wouldn't look anything like that. And it only weighs 80,000 pounds. The truck that I'm in with the cargo and everything, 80,000 pounds. It would not look like that falling out of the sky. It would fucking plummet to the earth. And I mean, I know this because I go over and up and down all these hills, throughout the country, and I get a feel for what the weight is. And just looking at that,
Yeah.
I
Is it,
can't not see that as a balloon now.
I mean, and I'm just throwing stuff out there. Is it possible? Because it's hard. Yet the tissue floating by actually was a telling thing. But is it possible that this is being shot with from a great distance with a very powerful lens?
So the guys are on the rocket, Mach 25 going up. This thing's falling at
Right.
and they're zooming in. That doesn't exist. Listen, this is your brain scrambling to not lose your entire space fantasy world.
Well, I mean, but like I work with cameras a little bit, and if you're looking at something from a great distance, from far away, and you've got a powerful lens, you might be able to capture something like that. It's just
but
just
zoom in real close to something, and you're going to get the tiniest bit of shake. It would be really hard to.
And he's going and they're going Mach 25 to get out of orbit. How's the thing keeping up with them sideways in the atmosphere?
Yeah. I mean, I'm factoring all of that in, but I'm just trying to come up with some conceivable explanation.
So I know, and that's what we try to do. But the thing is, you catch them lying once, it's over, right? This is Elon Musk, his rocket he's testing that's going to Mars. Now let's watch this. This is unedited. This is a test. Okay. Oh, we got some smoke, an edit. Okay. We got the onboard camera. Look how slow this thing's going up. Now, look, where's the smoke trail like the shuttle? Where's the smoke? All the smoke on the ground. Where's the smoke trail? Now, look at the camera angles. Okay. Now, this isn't very high because we kind of have a side angle. Okay. Oh, look how high it is from the onboard. Okay. Now it's going, the engines are shutting off. Ooh, look how high it is now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just watch. And now the engines are off. Now this thing is free falling. Okay. It's free falling. Right? It's free falling. And which one am I on, Green? I got two things going here. Oh, look how high it is all of a sudden. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's free falling. Now look how high it is. We got a side view. Ooh, now look how high it is from the onboard camera. How did we get a side view from this altitude? All right. Now watch. The engines are going to turn on, 3 of them. It's going to magically get upright. Ooh, that's some cool technology there. Cameraman's going to get underneath it. 2 of the 3 engines are going to burn out. Watch. 1, 2. And now we have one off-center engine stopping this multi-ton piece of metal falling, CGI smoke, and it lands upright.
Is that
This
supposed to
is
be actual footage?
Actual footage from Elon Musk.
Yeah, that doesn't even look.
So
that
like
camera
CGI.
angle, as the engines are shutting off, that camera angle from underneath, that's just absurd.
It's absurd. The people say, "Well, it's a drone," whatever.
I've seen movies that have better CGI
Okay,
than that.
so if Elon Musk is faking this, he's faking everything. On my website, flatearthdave.com, scroll down. There's a big banner with a whole bunch of pictures of Elon Musk on it. Click it. 5-minute video shows you that the man is a total fake on everything from PayPal to SpaceX. Okay? Oh, my hero, he's going to save us. He bought Twitter and he freed Donald Trump. Bullshit. Okay? It's all a friggin' rude. I like Twitter too because it reach a lot of people, but it's a lot of nonsense. This is the guy that's going to save us. He's lying to you about space.
So he's a puppet.
He's a puppet
For
the ruling elite, right? I think he's like an MK Ultra puppet. I don't even think he knows. I think he's really, really stupid. Okay.
There's a lot of the MK Ultra shit going around, and I think that more of us are affected by it. Not like we got strapped to a chair, but they've been unfolding this MK Ultra program, doing various things. Like, for instance, doctors. I was listening to a podcast this morning where they were talking about how doctors are actually taught their entire profession under trauma-based mind control. You're taught to repeat whatever your masters tell you in order to get your PhD, and then you're so deep into debt that you have to go out there and just follow the programming in order to get that Mercedes and the nice house on the hill and everything.
So doctors, let me comment on that. Doctors, like if you got run over by a car and your bones are broken, doctors are amazing. They're amazing at trauma surgery. But when it comes to the biochemistry of your body, they don't know shit.
Oh,
Okay.
listen, guys, I'm a registered nurse. This was my entry into doubting the institutions that were created to supposedly benefit mankind. When I was going through nursing school and working in hospitals, I realized very quickly that almost everything that we're taught to do is opposes actual good health. The things that the beliefs that we're indoctrinated into create disease, and the medical pharmaceutical complex is there to go into action once you're already sick, and oh, by the way, in the process, make a lot of money doing so. That's what it's all about. It's all about money. Like I do virtually everything that you're not supposed to do according to conventional science to stay healthy. So, like, I live a completely alternative lifestyle.
So, hey, I know that your time is valuable. You're welcome to, stay as long as you like. We've already gone over.
I'm going to go. I'm going to do one more thing, and then I'm going to hit you with a question and a special offer.
A couple of questions before you do go.
No problem. Excuse me. So this is the Go Fast rocket. You know about it? This is Red Bull launched this rocket, and they did something NASA doesn't do. They gave us an uninterrupted feed, looking down, and another one looking sideways. It went up, and all of a sudden, at 72 miles, give or take, whatever it was, all of a sudden it went kerplunk, and it hit something. Not water. It hit something, and it made like a kerplunking noise. And then it kind of floated weird, right? We have some NASA whistleblower testimony that makes perfect sense. It went into, I'll call it plasma, just a thicker medium, right? But the most interesting part was all of a sudden we saw the moon. This little tiny thing, this is the moon, right? Mm-hmm. But where was the Go Fast rocket and where was the moon? If we look, Go Fast rocket went off in Arizona. It was right here. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning. And the moon was over Australia.
On the other side of the earth. Around the
sphere. This was the Earth, and this was Arizona. You are a fraction of a millimeter above the Earth, and the moon was down here.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's because the Earth spun at 1,000 miles an hour.
That's fucking
24,000 miles an hour.
And that picture that we're looking at is the data on that particular date.
Exactly.
That's nuts. Okay, you're blowing my mind, bro.
Dude, I told you he's going to blow your friggin' mind.
You're blowing my mind, dude.
And by the way, if you Google, this stuff, they're going to come up, it stopped spinning all of a sudden because they had this anti-spin thing. All of it.
Yeah, no.
Excuse me.
According to the, what do you call it? The heliocentric model? Is that what's the
heliocentric model.
The Earth
I call it the helio-nonsensical model.
Right, but according to that model, the Earth would be in between you and the moon, so there's no way you could see it from that angle.
You're here,
right?
The moon's down here.
The Earth is.
You can only see that way. That way.
Right. That's
maybe it's like your ball there. You can see through parts of it.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Don't take my ball away.
I'm taking.
I love you,
people. I'm done.
Hey, do me a favor. Both of you grab that ball and hold it like it's the love of your life. Come closer to the camera, back. Come closer to the camera for a second. All right, and just love your ball. There you go. Perfect. There's the thumbnail. Okay, thank you. All right, there's the thumbnail.
This is actually going to make a really good dog toy. My dog is a flat earther. He's going to kill this thing.
I'll allow that. That's good.
So how does Pangea fit into a flat Earth? Is that made up?
Maybe when the Creator made the Earth, he took the lands and separated them out. I don't believe that we're moving. I don't believe in any of that, and I don't even see the fit there that well. This rabbit hole gets really deep, and there's a video coming out right now.
And actually.
What's that?
Yeah, we should. Mac, I live in California. We have fault lines, straight lines that that show that the tectonic plates are
There is movement there. There is stuff going on, and when earthquakes, why they happen? Are they man-made? Are they caused by man? There's all sorts of stuff. The big earthquake we just had in India. Was it India? Turkey. Sorry, that was arguably, very well arguably, done by HAARP. So again, these are rabbit holes that are really deep, and
there's a whole rabbit hole you can go down that explains a lot of like technology that can fire off these natural disasters. But that's something different. What about toilets flushing in the northern and southern hemispheres? Have you ever been asked that?
Yeah, they both flush in both places, no problem.
Do they swirl in opposite directions? I mean, like
it depends on the shape of the toilet. I have sinks in my house that go in different directions. It's all the shape of the bowl and the way the water goes in. But on the app, I think I have a Coriolis button somewhere in here. There's a button. Where's Coriolis? Oh yeah, there it is. Coriolis right there. Click that. Whole bunch of videos that Google doesn't want you to show. It shows you the hucksters at the equator that show you look, I'll do it here and then we cross the equator and I'll do it here. It's all just a little trick, and it's not true. It's just the shape of the bowl. There's no spinning.
And if you could explain, because I have a friend who worked at Southwest Airlines for many, many years, could you just real quickly touch on the idea of how much fuel the wings of a plane hold? I saw that on one of your videos. I can't seem to find it anywhere, but it was a really interesting concept of I think you know what I'm talking about. It looks like you're looking for the information now.
Actually, I'm doing everything I can to avoid that topic because it's so controversial. But
maybe the topic for another show, maybe.
Well, it is. And if you really want to see stuff on the jet fuel hoax, if you go to stoplookthink.com and search jet fuel hoax, there's a whole page on it there. Stop Look Think. But now that you brought that up, and I don't know if Paul has seen, Paul, have you seen the Southern flight routes information?
Not at all. I mean,
okay. This is one that I want to show you, and then you can wrap up with any final questions. But flights. Let me ask. So we got our north at the top, south at the bottom. Any two locations in the north, an origin and a destination, any two airports in the north, would a plane need to go below the equator to get to that other northern location? Yes or no? I'm in the north, above the equator. I want to go to another place in the north, above the equator. Would that plane need to go below the equator to get there?
To my knowledge, they would not. They would go over. You would think.
Yeah, you would fly in as straight a line as possible.
You're absolutely right, and none of them ever do. Perfect. So
really,
no plane in the north traveling to another northern location goes below the equator. It doesn't make any sense on a ball. But then the symmetry would say that any southern airport traveling to another southern airport would not go above the equator. Well, that's not true. That's not what happens. Okay, we have these. This is from Buenos Aires, and they're going to Qatar. This is where the World Cup was. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Why do they go all the way up to Rome? Right here's the equator. Oh, well, actually, this doesn't work because it's in northern and southern. But why did they go? Why didn't they just fly here? Okay, let me show you a better graphic. Where to go? Here we go. So they left Doha. They went to Rome to get more fuel. Private plane, didn't need to pick up other passengers, and then they flew to Buenos Aires. Doesn't Buenos Aires look like it's about the same distance from here to here and from here to here? Why did they waste all this fuel going here? Because the truth is, on a flat Earth map, they stopped here for fuel because they can't get fuel out here in the middle of the ocean. Okay? It's a straight line. Okay? Interesting. Right? Let's look at another one. Right? This is a flat map, but on a globe, it makes this big curve, right? Going from LA to the UK, right? But it touches.
I can pee on that part, just like that guy.
Yeah. Is that a guy peeing? I never even noticed that. But on a flat Earth, it's a straight line touching. Look, here's Greenland. Here's Greenland. It's a straight line. It makes perfect sense on a flat Earth, All right. Here's another
Right.
one. Okay.
These will blow your mind, Paul. These are astonishing.
Yeah.
These routes and also like the emergency landings.
Well, I'm gonna get to the emergency landing. Let's do that. So sometimes there's an emergency. They got to land. Someone sick, having a baby, whatever. Right.
Right.
So going from
Unruly passengers.
Hawaii to New York, there was a emergency here. And they went like 1,500 miles out of the way to Seattle, and they got there impossibly fast, like 15 minutes. How did they get there? Well, if you look at it, Hawaii, Seattle, New York, it's right on the line. Oh, that's just a coincidence, Dave. Right? That's the Great Circle route. Okay. Here's one from London to Islamabad. It stopped in Moscow. Look where Moscow is, all the way up here. But if you look at a flat Earth map, Moscow is again on that same route. Okay. Another one went to Calgary. Calgary is right on that flat Earth route. Okay. Another one, again to Moscow. They love Moscow. Moscow's right on that flat Earth route. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So check
That's
this one out.
crazy,
This one, New York to New Zealand. Oh,
We're not seeing it yet.
oh, you're not seeing it. Thank God, because I had the wrong image up. New York to New Zealand, right here, they had an emergency. They went all the way over to Fiji. Wait a minute. Why didn't they go to Auckland? Right? They're here. Why did they go all the way over here? Because when you look at it on a flat Earth map, New York, look, Fiji's right on the flight route. Zoom in. Fiji, right there. It's not over here. It's right there on a flat Earth map. The one that they use for navigation, right? The azimuth equidistant map, the Gleason's map, is the one that's always been used for navigation. And this is my favorite one here because it's such a wonderful, lovely story. Going from Hong Kong, they're going all the way to the UK. They ended up stopping in Germany because a family, little kids, father, they're all sitting together. Mother dies suddenly, dead in her seat. Got to land a plane right away, right? There's 50 different airports they could have stopped at along the alleged flight route, but they didn't stop for 8 hours, and they ended up stopping in Germany. Why is that? Why did they do that? Because 4 hours into the flight, they were over Russia. Can't land in Russia because Russia would probably end up helping. Like, oh my God, this is horrible. Let us help. They'd be the good guys. Can't have that in today's environment. And what the hell are we doing flying over Russia? Right? So they couldn't land until they got over here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How many of these do you need? Right? Now, again, don't believe me. All of this information is compiled in a book called 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. You can get the free PDF online, or you can
Who's credited? Just out of curiosity, who's credited with creating the flat Earth map? Where did that?
So the flat Earth map. This is the book, by the way. You can get it at lulu.com, or you just find the free PDF online. It's we did all the work for you. We put it all together. Not me. It's Eddie Flat Earth Banjo, who used to work for the airlines, and he's like, these flight routes don't make any sense. So when you ask about who put the map together,
yeah, I mean,
well,
somebody
this is the Gleason map. That's a great question. Maybe it's was it Gleason that put it together? This map was in every encyclopedia, every schoolroom, everywhere until the 1950s, and they removed it. And most people have never even seen it. This is the one that's used for navigation. This is the one that the UN has on their logo. Okay, this is the one that flights use. Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. But what they did is they took this map, they cut it out, and then they wrapped it on a sphere, which is a prison for your mind. Okay.
Right.
And so they're like, hey, you live here. There's nothing more to discover, Truman. This is it. This is where you live. Okay. This is where you live. Again, a prison for your mind. They don't want you thinking of the possibility that, hey, maybe there's more land of the other ponds beyond the shoreline of our world. They don't want you to think that, hey, maybe We live here, and there's hundreds of other ponds across the plane. These ponds occupy a piece of the plane. What do you call a piece of a plane? A planet.
Right.
These are possibilities. Great book in the app called The Navigator Across the Ice Wall. If you forget it, it's right there. And it'll change the way you see the world. Any other questions?
Check out the app. I'm going to check out the app, man. I mean, I'll probably be on it for a good long time.
Well,
yeah, it's only $3.
It's $3, right?
And when you go there, you gotta enter my referral code so that I can have.
What is your referral code, Mac?
I think it's LumberJ. I think I custom set it to LumberJ.
Well, you can if you just
Lumberjack Mac was my radio name back when I was in my 20s.
If you click this button right here, you can look yours up. So click this button right here on the upper left, and then that'll show you your referral code. Right?
It's LumberJ.
Okay.
LUMBRJ. And I tried to sign up for the annual subscription, and I'm having trouble with that. Maybe because it's on my tablet.
Is that Android?
Yeah.
Okay. And you tried that. You had trouble today, right?
I had trouble when I first downloaded the app like 2 weeks ago and today.
Okay, so right now there's an update going on. It's actually removed from the App Store, from the Google Play Store. It'll be back. But if you have any problem, please send the details to support@theflatearthpodcast.com. Okay.
Okay. I'll get that taken care of as soon as I deliver this load.
Yeah. Please do that. The subscription is you get 99% of the app for free. But if you want to message other people, you want to send out group messages, you want to look at people's profiles, you have to put the subscription's $11 a year. Okay, that's nothing. Basically, it's a margarita. And if you don't want to pay for the subscription, you can just get 11 referral points, and then it's free. Okay, you refer the app to 11 people with your code, and then you can use those points to purchase the year subscription.
Well, I'm going to sign up for the subscription, but I also just want anybody who watches this, who downloads the app for $3, to use my referral code LumberJ.
LumberJ, Paul, no spaces.
You're the first. You have to download this. I'll send you $3 in Bitcoin.
Right. Well, here's the thing. That'll cost you more than $3. You don't want to do that. You want to use Epic Cash.
Yeah.
Epic. Use that.
Clearly, you're a Bitcoin fan. I'm a Bitcoin. You know what it's about. I know what it's about.
So look into Epic Cash. By the way, on the app, if you click the shopping cart button and you scroll down, just check out Epic Cash. Check out the videos here. It's literally what Bitcoin should have been. Okay, it's private. It costs a fraction of a penny to send money instantly. The wallet is amazing, and it'll. I think that there's definitely some value in Bitcoin, but it's not. It's more like digital gold because
you don't want to spend it.
It's a pain in the ass. But Epic, you can go bam. I can send you money on Epic in 1 second. I can send you 5 cents because it only cost me a fraction of a penny. I can send you $5,000. It cost me a fraction of a penny, and it's instant. Watch that stuff on Epic Cash. Don't make any decisions. Don't do anything I tell you to do. Don't believe anything. But anyway, so here's my offer.
Download the app for $3, and then use my code
FlatEarthDave.com. The app's right there. And as of this date, which is the 22nd, there's it's not in the Google Play Store probably for another 24 hours, maybe less. Okay, ready? Special offer, Paul. 6 Bitcoins, 1 Globe Proof. Go.
Brother, I think I've already.
No, look.
I think I already blew my load. Like I'm trying to come up with
this. I get at least 1 Ethereum for this.
That's your proof of the globe right there.
All right.
I'm totally playing around, Dave.
Okay. And I'm just grasping at straws here.
Yeah.
Volcanic activity. Right. So there's a center to the earth, and volcanic activity happens. There's magma in the center of the planet.
So how do you know there's magma in the center since no one's ever gone below 7.8 miles? There's an impenetrable barrier that we can't blow up, can't drill through. But how do you know what's at the center of the Earth? Because you've never been there, and nobody's ever been there, and no one knows what's below 7.8 miles.
Well, there's definitely magma. We see molten rock spewing from mountains.
We do, and the Earth has electrical currents going in it that make lava tubes, and these lava tubes go parallel with their surface, and sometimes they break the surface. Right? Have you ever seen lava spewing out of a cone-shaped mountain? And the answer is you think you have, but you haven't. Okay? Whenever they show you lava coming out of a cone-shaped thing, it's a hill, maybe 10, 20, 30 feet high. That's it. But they show it to you with nothing to reference, and your mind sees a giant mountain. Okay? Lava tubes are all over the place, and it has to do with the electrical current that's going through the Earth. Okay? There is no lava coming from the center of our magnetic molten core. It's nonsense. Now, I don't know how much lava is down there. Lava, is like, it could be the blood of the Earth. I don't know. But it's definitely not coming from mountains and, coming from the center of the Earth and spewing out of the top of mountains.
That's all I got.
I wish I could come up with something. This stuff just fascinates me, Dave. I thank you so much for joining us. Your time is very valuable. I know that you speak to a lot of people, and thank you so much for joining us on our very little tiny show.
All right. I'm going to put this on my channel also. I'll link it back to your channel. Send me a link when you put this up. All right.
I will.
And I'll put you on the app as soon as you do. All right.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have it uploaded probably later this evening.
Awesome.
And then I'll email you the link.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
I'm going to let you go, and we're going to talk some more, Paul.
Okay, man.
All right, guys. See you.
Great.
See ya.
Hello everyone, Strawman Dan here, and before I start, I just want to tell you all about what is by far my favourite app of all time. Yes, you guessed it, it's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app. I know, for years I have been anti-Flat Earth with my highly edited weekly anti-Flat Earth scripted rants, but after downloading this app, wow, I'm blown away. Earth is a horizontal level plane and I'm a complete douchebag. I'm sorry.